Today we're removing the Wi-Fi chip from an LG French door refrigerator. We have the refrigerator unplugged, so now we can take our radio frequency meter and test some of the levels of the space with it unplugged. So you can see it's 5, 6, let's see if we just move it around, get some other ratings, 22, 7, 11. You can see it fluctuating. This is incredibly low levels. Let's put it on the floor just in front of the refrigerator. So that brings it all the way down to 7, 4, 6. So pretty consistently single digits here with this refrigerator unplugged. So now we have the refrigerator plugged in, so now it is on. And even though the Wi-Fi is disconnected, it still emits a radio frequency. So we're gonna test our levels. See here, we're already up in the 900s, whereas before we were single digits. Here's, 100, kind of fluctuating, but wait until we open the refrigerator and look at this. Now we're at 8,000, 14,000. Let me zoom in here, 31,000. That's right on the control panel with the buttons there, 45,000. If we continue to move around, up here we can see up to 80,000 right now, 96,000. In that corner of the left door hinge, 200,000, 300,000. So you got, 6 figures here versus the single digits that we were dealing with before we plugged this in. So this is emitting an extremely high radio frequency. We can see the same thing on this top right door hinge, 16,000. So now we've unplugged the device and we've located that the Wi-Fi chip is in this top left door hinge on the left front of the refrigerator. Okay, so looking at the top of the fridge here, we want to remove this gray panel here. There's one screw over there, which we have already removed. So once you get that screw undone, go ahead and pop that panel off. You might just need to jiggle it a little bit. There you go. So now you see a pretty simple setup in here. That chip that she's pointing to, this green panel with the silver chip on it, that is the Wi-Fi chip. So that is what we want to remove. So within this panel, there's 2 places that we want to disconnect. Both of those cords we want to disconnect to totally cut off any Wi-Fi or Bluetooth signal. So to disconnect these wires, you have to push down on this little clamp and then pull the pieces apart. Can be a little tough, you gotta wiggle it a little bit. So there's one undone, and then the other piece that we're gonna disconnect over here to the Wi-Fi chip, same thing. Can be a little tricky to get out of there. There you go. So now both of these are disconnected. Okay, so now we have that piece totally disconnected. We've replugged in the refrigerator, and now let's take a look at our radio frequencies again. Now we're right back to 8, 6, back in the single digits, 20, 11, so much less than we were before. So let's open up the refrigerator and check those areas where we had really high levels. Prior, 6, 3, 4, still in the single digits, so a huge difference. You can see this has really reduced the levels up there. 5, that was like over 20,000 before, and this was the spot where we had over 300,000 and is now at 8, 10, 16, 10, so incredibly low. And as you can see, the refrigerator is fully functioning. Okay, so now that we have everything disconnected, all we have to do is put this door hinge cover back over top here. Kind of snap it into place, and then there'll be that one screw. There it goes. So then you just got to screw in there and you're good to go. So now we'll come over here to the right side door hinge and we'll remove this cover the same way we did on the left. Be a little screw that we've already undone, and you can pop it open. So once this is open, we've already done this ahead of time, but there are 3 connection points you want to disconnect. First is this group of cords that's black and red and yellow. It goes in that spot, so you disconnect that. And then in this pink box is another white box that has a group of cords, blue, yellow, black, etc. You'll unplug that. And finally, like we did on the other side here, you'll disconnect this piece as well. So all three of those need to be disconnected. The front piece of that is a smart sensor that you connect with your phone if you're using their app. So you remove that, and then you also need to disconnect these pieces to disable the alarm that will beep because of the stuff that we did on the left door hinge if you don't undo this. So once that's done, you can put that door hinge back on and screw it back down. Now that door hinge cover is back in place, you're ready to plug in your refrigerator and move it back into place. So now your refrigerator is not emitting a serious radio frequency signal, which will lower your total EMF exposure and increase your privacy. So thanks for watching.